Nick Woltemade has already scored 4 goals in just 7 appearances for Newcastle United, but in that short time he's shown he's far more than just a goal scorer. The towering German has proven he can pin down defenders with his physical presence, stay composed in front of goal, and finish with authority. More importantly, he's thriving in the Northeast, and the question is, how has he managed to do it? At 1.98 meters tall, you'd expect Woltemade to know how to use his body, and he does. But what surprises people is that his mobility hasn't suffered because of that size. In fact, only one of those assumptions, his physical dominance, is true. The other, that he's slow or clunky, couldn't be further from reality. Woltemade reacts fast. When a teammate misplaces a pass, he's often first to reach it, darting toward the ball, using his frame to shield it and forcing defenders into awkward choices. They either back off, giving him space to turn, or they foul him. Both outcomes favor Newcastle. When he creates that pocket of separation between himself and the ball, defenders can't touch it without risk. If they retreat, Woltemade spins and slips passes to the wingers in dangerous one-on-one positions. If they step in, they risk conceding free kicks. And that's the last thing anyone wants against a team that's been one of the Premier League's most dangerous from set pieces, ranking 9th in goals from dead ball situations over the past 2 seasons. But Woltemade's movement and strength aren't just useful for drawing fouls, though he wins more per 90 minutes than most strikers in the league. They've transformed Newcastle's entire attacking shape. When the Magpies have possession now, they look different, more structured, more unpredictable. And that's largely thanks to what the German brings: movement, muscle, and an exceptional sense of space. Last season, that pass probably would have gone to Sandro Tonali. The Italian, who often drifted high into the left half space, stayed fairly static and linked up with Isak, making runs behind the defensive line. But now things look completely different, and in a good way. Newcastle's strikers are still encouraged to occupy those half spaces, but they're doing it at a much higher tempo, constantly rotating positions to stretch the middle and open up passing lanes for players arriving between the opposition's midfield and defense. If you compare Newcastle's average positions and passing network this season to last, 2 things immediately stand out. First, the role of the central striker has been totally redefined. Second, the wingers are now receiving the ball much higher up the pitch, creating a more direct threat. And third, the midfielders themselves are pushing further forward, tightening the team's pressing shape and making it far more proactive. These tweaks have been crucial. For the past 3 years, or more precisely, since Alexander Isak's arrival, Newcastle's attack has largely revolved around rapid transitions. It was simple, effective in short bursts, but also predictable. Now, though, the Magpies are evolving into something far more structured. A side that stretches and shreds defensive blocks through controlled central build-ups and isolation plays out wide for Elanga and Gordon. It's a more methodical, more fluid attacking system, one that promises long-term consistency rather than quick hits. A perfect example of this evolution comes from Nick Woltemade's movement. You'll often see him drop deep, seemingly away from danger. But in truth, he's baiting the nearest opposition midfielder to follow him. That single move triggers a chain reaction. The midfielder is dragged out, the opposing winger can't drift wide to cover, and suddenly the passing lane to Elanga opens up. Elanga finds himself one-on-one, and in those situations he's a nightmare to defend against. And here's the beauty of it. When that cross eventually comes in, Woltemade is right there in the box again, ready to finish off the move he started. From orchestrator to executioner, it's the mark of a true number 9, one driven by hunger, instinct, and a relentless will to score. That flexibility is exactly what's powering Newcastle's new attacking blueprint, one where the deep-lying striker becomes the central connector. The wingers aggressively attack isolated fullbacks, and the seamless interchanges across the front line constantly stretch the opposition's shape. It's made Newcastle not only more fluid and watchable, but also far more dangerous in possession. In truth, Big Nick isn't just a bounce board or a towering presence to win aerial duels. He's got remarkably soft, intelligent feet, the kind that allow him to thrive in tight spaces. Picture this: Woltemade receives the ball inside the box under heavy pressure, calmly shifts his weight, shields it, then lays it off for a teammate to shoot. It's a small detail, but it reveals a lot. This isn't your old-school target man. This is a modern, multifaceted center forward in the making. What stands out most about Woltemade is his composure under pressure and his ability to manipulate space. He's comfortable receiving the ball with his back to goal, absorbing contact, then using a single deliberate touch to pull his marker forward, usually a holding midfielder or center back. That one motion destabilizes the entire defensive line. With the press broken, Woltemade can then shield, pivot, and either slip a quick pass wide or turn to attack the space himself. Without that blend of technical precision and tactical intelligence, Eddie Howe's possession-based evolution simply wouldn't function. Of course, this style also comes with its own risks. Once Woltemade surges toward the penalty area, he's often entering traffic, a zone crowded with defenders. But this is where his movement truly shines. He doesn't rush his runs, he times them. He waits for that half second when the defender relaxes, then bursts into life. If he's tightly marked, he deceives instead, feinting toward the near post before peeling off to the far one. In those split seconds of hesitation, he finds the space he needs. Looking at the bigger picture, Woltemade is proving to be a striker who can do it all, linking play, creating chances for others, and still scoring goals himself. The numbers back it up. 4 goals in 7 games, from an expected goals total of just 2.11. That means he's outperforming the models by nearly double. An incredible feat for a new arrival in the Premier League. But perhaps the most impressive thing isn't just his output. It's how he's transformed Newcastle's entire attacking rhythm. The Magpies no longer rely on hopeful crosses or speculative long shots. Their attacks now feel orchestrated, fluid, and purposeful. And right at the center of it all stands Woltemade, the man who's brought finesse to a team built on power, blending German strength with an uncommon grace for English football. Watch him play and you can sense it. Newcastle may have found the blueprint for the modern number 9, a striker who can hold the ball, move intelligently, and make the team around him better. If he keeps this up, don't be surprised if his name appears on Germany's World Cup roster in 2026. Woltemade's story at Newcastle is still in its opening chapter, but it already feels like something special. The move that once looked risky, even desperate, now seems inspired. Brought in on deadline day for a hefty fee, many dismissed it as a panic buy. Yet in just a few weeks, the 1.98-meter German has silenced every doubt, becoming a vital piece of Eddie Howe's system. 4 goals in 7 games won't break records, but it tells a bigger truth. He's adapting fast, improving even faster, and bringing balance to a side that's learning to play smarter football. The irony is hard to miss. A signing once seen as a mistake might just turn out to be the spark that ignites a new era at St. James's Park.